I'm here at Burnt Coat Head Park, right along the Bay of Fundy. We are here for the low tide to be able to see one of the world's highest and lowest tide areas. So we've come just in time for the low tide, where in some points the water will be less than 2 meters, where typically at high tide it is up to 13 meters. All right, we're about to take a walk in what was once the ocean floor, but because it's low tide, we're able to walk along it. On this site, there is a lighthouse, museum, and beautiful parks and trails to walk along as we get to the shoreline to see an amazing sight where the water has receded upwards to 50 meters from the shore. Here we are about to walk down to the ocean floor. They've provided us a warning to just be careful because the ocean floor obviously is going to be slippery. Take a look at that. About 3 hours ago, this entire alcove was filled with water. What can you do?
What you say, careful? Careful. Yeah.
Wow, hard to believe that this whole area gets filled up with water. I'm going to try and figure out a way to get down there carefully without slipping or falling in the slick algae or mud.
Then they made the stairs for you.
And looks like out of the stone there's been some stairs carved out so we can climb down to the ocean floor and be very careful. There we go. This is very, very cool. It's like walking on a different planet. Such a surreal sight. You can still see the remnants of the water that's receded. Some of the mud is drying up here, but a little bit further out as the water had receded, it is still very, very muddy. You can still see water here. Important to be careful when walking along these areas that were once underwater. Definitely need to be careful, especially under these ledges that have been wet just a few minutes ago. There was some rock that fell from the top that must have been wet and clinging and eroded. You can still see there's water dripping from the the seaweed that was underwater just a couple of hours ago. You can see where the mud is drying along those red cliffs and how far out the water has receded. The Bay of Fundy all the way around us. This is absolutely amazing. You can see where the water has eroded the sides of the cliffs here, and they're drying slowly. That's how high the water was almost 3 hours ago. And the water continues to recede and will most likely recede for another 30 to 40 minutes before it gradually comes back and completely fills this entire area, including those red cliffs to the very top. Typically, when the water is completely full, you wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to explore so many nooks and crevices on the ocean floor. How very intriguing. You can still see that there's quite a bit of water here. Some of these higher areas still a little wet and muddy. Let's see what is in here. Must be really careful. Beautiful. So beautiful and so amazing to be able to walk along this ocean floor. As you walk further out from what would be part of the shore, the ground turns from being muddy to sandy in some places, strewn across with snail shells, hiding inside, waiting for the water to come back. And then you can see that some parts of this Bay of Fundy floor is still very much rock. The further out we get from the shore, you can see little micro colonies that are still surviving in the water and doing their thing, waiting for the tide to come back. So I've walked as far as I can along the shore here at Burnt Head Coat Park. Water is still receding a little bit. You can hear it as it flows back into the Bay of Fundy here behind me. And we've been able to walk a good 50 meters, maybe even a football field.
Okay. There you go. Don't stuck in that. Yeah, right.
You can see as the water is slowly coming back, we've got families of crabs making their way about. This is about as far as I can go now. There's the shoreline. In a couple of hours, this entire bay will be filled with water to sit and wait and ponder and think, only to flow back out again. And now I make my trek back through this very ancient world. Who knows what stories the geological sands can tell as the water flows in and out with new stories every day. Definitely an amazing opportunity to come out to this Bay of Fundy, northern part of Nova Scotia. So in taking a different way back to shore, we've discovered that the rock we came around is a freestanding rock in the bay, and we have an opportunity to go through what would be the shore and the rock that otherwise in a couple of hours would be filled with water. How very exciting to be able to walk through a different landscape altogether. Here we are on the other side of that freestanding rock. Hard to believe that in a couple of hours this whole area will start to fill up with the water from the bay. We've just had an opportunity to walk all the way out to where the water was receding, and now we are making our way back in. What an amazing opportunity here at the Bay of Fundy.